I forgot to mention, because I'd already started video the reading, for week 1, because I'm, behind. So, I forgot, so I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick, and then edit it. The, decks that I'm using for the reading, so, the Modern Witch, of course, the Luna Soul, and then I'm using Tarot of the Witch's Garden. I don't have the box for my Medicine Woman Tarot. Then I have the Witch's Heart. And then I have Earth Magic. And then, and I couldn't find this, and I finally found it. The Eleke, it translates into She Who, in English. And then I have, Believing in Your Own Magic Oracle deck by Amanda Lovelace. So those are the decks that I'm using. Hi guys. So I'm late. Boy, I'm always late. I'm like that rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. Anyway, a couple days ago I did do a collective reading for the Divine Feminine Energy. It's on the previous video. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. But I'm doing the week 1 tarot spread, and I'm going to do week 2 here in a bit, just so that, because I need to be caught up. And I'm not overwhelmed, because I've got, other videos to do this week. I'm going to take my own advice. So, the Divine Feminine, week 1. So, it's the 4 questions tarot spread. So the first question is, what does the Divine Feminine mean to me? Okay. So, got my handy dandy paper here. So I find this really interesting, because this seems to be like the theme with this reading, because you see this a lot. Now I need to look up what the deer means in animal divination. I don't want to say spirit animal, because the deer pops up more than once in this reading, and so does justice. So one thing I'm getting, especially with this card, is the Divine Feminine. It is about giving life and nurturing and the earth. If you can look, it looks like she's giving food to the animals, and either she's trying to have the man help her feed them, or teaching him how to do it, or it also looks like he's trying to take something away from her. And again, she's got the scales, which are about justice and about balance, which, to me, that's your inner power, not letting someone take it away from you. But again, like the deer and the squirrel, I do need to look up what that means, because that is a bit of a pattern. And blossoming, because you see the flowers in the background. And here with the Chariot, again, it's about embracing your inner badass and finding balance. And you can see all the smoke and things, like you're leaving a toxic situation, so knowing when to get the hell out of Dodge because you can't fix it. And I don't know, that looks like a unicorn horn to me. So being pure of heart, sorry, my hands aren't doing so great today. And then with the Fool, and it's interesting because I was wanting to move to Florida, and now we're not, and the fact the alligator's going off the cliff. So, this is about starting over, new beginnings, and I find it really interesting if you can see. I don't know if I can get it to focus. Um, Maybe I'll back it up. That bag has an eye on it. So, intuition and third eye, and of course, the dog is like warning him that he's going over the cliff. Um, so, listening to guidance, and again, balance, and again, with the deer, and this says to me a lot more about listening to my ancestors, because you see the old couple down here, and listening to them and following what they say, and also not um, making the same mistakes that they did, learning from their mistakes. And then we have here um, releasing illusions. So, um, releasing and getting rid of a kind of like a lot of the misconceptions that I have about myself, and about, you know, releasing misconceptions, and also up here again, you know, taking risks. Um, the wolf. The wolf is all about the pack and all about the community, and um, seeing to it that the community benefits and grows. Um, and here, and it's interesting because I've been like, that's oddly enough close to my hair color now. Um, Talking about cutting my hair um, for a while because it's really getting annoying. Of course, so is Aiden. Aiden! Um, the ability to look at yourself in the mirror and be happy with what you see, and making those changes that you feel that you need to make, not really caring what others think about it. Um, and then this card, Orchid, and it's all about she who thrives, flourishes, prospers, and blossoms. So again, and then of course butterflies, they do have a lot to do with spirit, and they do grant wishes in some traditions. So when your community flourishes and blossoms, then you blossom. You benefit from that. So figuring out ways to work within your community so that everybody benefits. So that's what question 1 means to me. So if you guys just... Okay, so question 2 is, how do I experience the divine feminine energy? Yeah, I guess. Or explore it. So let me flip that out because I don't need that anymore. Okay, so here, with this card, we have death. And because of the deities that I work with, Hecate has a lot to do with crows, and of course the skeleton being Santa Muerte, with the cloak. Oddly enough, I do my hair like that all the time. So, connecting with my guides, especially my deities. And if you see in the morning who I was, because I'm not the same person anymore. And then of course here, understanding reaping what you sow. And I do gotta look up with the crows, and seeing what's up with that. I mean, I know that they tend to be the messengers, especially for Hecate. And there was a lot to do with crows when Roe v. Wade was overturned. And then here, I got it upside down. It's interesting because this is like the second time in the reading that moss is coming up. So, I gotta see what that's all about. Or willow trees. Um, and then understanding that I'm not alone, or understanding that you're not alone, because, you got, it looks like a sloth to me. Um, that's just my personal opinion. Um, and letting it all hang out in meditation, connecting with nature, and being still. Um, which seems to be yet another theme. Um, Guidance, traveling, leaving the places, like leaving my comfort zone and traveling. That can also be dream work and that type of thing. I see. Um, and being prepared because of the backpack and the cane, which, because, canes aren't just for blind people, they're also to help you, you know, walk and travel roads. So accepting help and guidance because you got the moon up here. Um, and then here, again, finding balance and duality. Um, Sharing ideas and finding that connection. Again, um, goddesses, because Iris has a lot to do with rainbows and getting your chakras balanced and all of that type of thing. And the dark and light are equal as far as the backgrounds go. So there's that. And here again, finding sisterhood, finding that community, and of course, off here in the distance, charity, helping those out that need help, the medicine bag and stuff. That's a lot to do with herbs and healing. Um, giving someone that safe place, because you see the elderly lady and the little boy in the background. So there's that. um, let's see here. And then we have Let It Go. Sadly, this poor lady, it makes me think of what's going on in Georgia right now. Anyway, listening to spirit, again with the owl, because the owl's a lot to do with messages from those that have passed in a lot of traditions. And then, of course, just going with the flow, because the whole thing with ending the whole menopause stuff. I still have the brain fog, and but the other parts of it, it's just, I'm done and over with on it. Instead of trying to swim against the wave, just kind of riding with it. And then again, the moon, and cycles, understanding cycles. This one to me has a lot to do with getting back to spirit and getting back to work, which I am setting up. I've got a box over here. I am bit by bit working on making mini altar, because I don't have much space. We don't have much space here, so I'm working on that. Getting back to the old ways. And then, of course, this one, thorns, weaving together the crown you deserve. So, understanding that I need to make my crown myself, because no one's going to do it for me. And understanding, though, too, that karma, letting karma do what karma does, and handling situations. That karma's going to do what karma's going to do. So sometimes you just have to let go and sit down and with your pop in your bag of popcorn and just watch. So there's that. Okay, so what ways do I suppress the divine feminine? This is interesting. I'm not connected to spirit. To me, that looks like, a spirit animal. I'm not connected to spirit like I was and like I need to be. I've got a lot of work to do, and I've got to stop procrastinating on things. Like, I'll do it when this gets accomplished or when that gets accomplished. Okay, I've got to quit doing that. I have to connect to spirit. It's really interesting with the judgment card that they're all women. So I'm not listening to those that walked the path before me. I'm not listening to my elders with their guidance. This right here shows a lot. Anyway, that part of it I'm going to keep to myself. But I'm not listening. They're screaming and yelling and waving their arms at me, and I'm not accepting who I am and listening to what they have to say and doubting myself on situations and things. So I'm not working more with the earth and harvesting. Then again, this has got a lot to do with herbs. Doing more work with herbs and medicine. I am going to get a couple books, because with things being the way they are, you're going to have to do a lot of the old ways. So there's that. I'm not harvesting. I'm not collecting and gathering the way I should be. Now this one's really interesting because Nine of Pentacles. Now, what's really interesting is, again, I'm not planning and growing things, and it's really interesting because if you look at that looks a lot like the Prince symbol to me, with the things here at the side and stuff, and the fact that it's purple. So that tells me no creativity, because Prince was also a Gemini. And taking the time to stop and smell the flowers. So I need to embrace more with creativity and just slowing down. And again, there's a lot that I could be doing as far as seeing to it, fighting with justice, especially the blind and the elderly. I could be doing more maybe, and I'm not doing that, and I need to figure out a safer, productive way to do that, because some platforms are just toxic as all get out. So there's some things I looked into that I need to get accomplished, maybe, and not be going blind into situations. So listening to my intuition and listening to spirit, because you can kind of see where their skulls there. I need to learn how to be more balanced with my masculine and feminine energies. To take time and kind of watch the sunset. I need to learn how to be more self-reliant, because especially when you're a disabled person, promises aren't always kept. And always having a backup and a plan B, and I don't do that enough. And She Who Flies. So I'm not living up to my potential, and I need to be I need to be studying more and getting myself out of those certain situations, which I'm working on. Um, and flying high, because again, that looks to me with the birds. Um, it's really interesting with the rainbow. So I don't know, maybe there's something to do with me working some more with Iris. Kimber Kiss told me once I needed to do more stuff with rainbows and having chakras balanced. So maybe that's what that's about. And then Voyage, you again with travel, and again, I used to love the ocean. Wanted to move to Florida, but don't think that's going to happen now. I already have the tools to do what I need to do. I'm just not utilizing them and not taking that minute to heed spirit to how better utilize the tools that I'm already have. So that's something else I need to work on. Okay, so I didn't write the whole thing down, but the last question was, how do I manifest the divine feminine? And again, getting the wheel moving forward, and it's really interesting again with the owl and the little boy with red hair. And the satyr. So this is a lot more about connecting, again, listening to spirit, connecting with nature, and of course the lotus. At least it looks like a lotus, but I'm really drawn to the little boy with red hair. The spirit that I need to be listening to. I don't know if that, well, anyway. And the emperor, that crown I made, wearing it proudly. And sitting on my throne and being all in my badassery. I've walked away from the toxicity because you see the city and the smoke and all that. So I just need to just sit in my, never be afraid to embrace your inner B word. And getting together and building with community. And celebrating with community. Oddly enough, that gives me, I don't know, like Beltane vibes. Maybe it's because we just had Beltane. And here summer's coming. We're about to have the summer equinox here in about less than a month. So, again, with going outside and getting with community, although there's not much of a pagan community here. So I'm kind of relying on. And again, listening to ancestors, because they're behind me. And also there's a lot about studying and learning and teaching, because the ancestors are behind, and I'm pointing and teaching a little one. And also, I'm also behind while someone else teaches. So that's another thing. Again with the owl. I'm going to have to add owl to that. When I accomplish things, I need to start rewarding myself and giving myself that pat on the back more. Let's see. Yelena, she who knows. So I need to be connecting with spirit, listening to my guides, my intuition, my instincts, following my instincts, and stop doubting myself and letting others gaslight me. I again, with the moss and the willow trees. So I've got to look up like moss and willow. I don't know if that's got something to do with Spanish moss, because I was thinking about doing some things with Spanish moss earlier. But again, this is about being still and being with nature and meditation and connecting back with the earth. And this lady, again, it's about connecting again with nature, with spirit, with, expectations. Don't seek, and not explaining myself. I don't have to explain myself. I'm almost 52 years old and not giving a rat's damn what others think about me. And doing my own thing. And understanding that I do my own thing for a reason. So, anyway, guys, that's week 1. So, peace, love, and light. I'm going to go back again here in a bit and do the rest of this so I get it all caught up and I'm all, not so overwhelmed. So, please like, comment, and subscribe, guys.